everything in life is in a cycle and in waveform. This whole idea that you can measure things linearly, I think, is the biggest fallacy we've ever been taught. It's like, okay, great. Digest this information from point A to point B. It's like the only things on this planet that even assume to think that way are human beings. And we constantly lead ourselves astray. It should be a thought of how you start in one place and it always circles back to the beginning again. So your choices, your karma, the things you decide to do, the habits that you follow through with, those loops all generate their own thing. And treating people poorly is definitely one. But we're kind of in this like interesting phenomenon now, right? Where the ghosts, the specters of that fake politeness are, being heavily unveiled to the public.
There's a good Facebook meme, and I know that Facebook is not the source of wisdom, but there's a good meme that I came across that said, most people are not good, they're simply polite. And I think that we're starting to see a lot more of that. I think a lot of the shadows and the veil is starting to be unraveled on a lot of people, that they have good PR, they have very good image, but when you actually look at their actions, there's a huge gap in their actions and in their behavior.
See, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you being polite and not a good person.
Really?
Like I'm okay with that. You know what I'm not okay with is you pretending to be someone better than you are, right? Like I'm good with you just being neutrally polite. Like we don't owe each other.
I love polite people.
Right.
So, yeah.
But it's different when you try to play me or someone or anyone, the American public, a fool and start using like trigger words to inspire this like faux attitude that you clearly don't represent in your personal choices.
Well, let me give you an example of the polite that I'm talking about.
Okay.
I don't mean like holding open the door and giving up your seat to an elderly lady kind of polite. I find that like a lot of people have friends, and this is something that I discovered going through my 20s, is that a lot of people search for very polite friends or friends that don't challenge them in any such way. And because they're comfortable, they're comfy, cushiony friends, right? And a lot of them are polite, and I'll be like, bro, you're doing wonderful, you're doing good, even when you're not doing so good.
Right.
And the question I ask with those people is, do they really care about you?
No.
They don't.
They don't.
So that's the kind of politeness I'm pointing out, where they'll be like, hey man, that was awesome. Yeah, that was great. And a true friend will have a difficult conversation with you, even if it means risking that friendship.
That's a friend that I want.
Yes.
And that's the friend that I am. Like, I have no problem saying that. If I think that you're veering directly towards a cliff, I feel it's my fault as your friend if I don't bring this up. If I'm not, and there's a way to do it where it's like, listen, bro, we're all in this together. Like, I got your 6. What I need you to do, though, is to recognize the writing on the wall. If you continue with these choices, you're going to be suffering serious consequences. And I'll be there as much as I can. But with these kinds of consequences, you're going to start seeing friends of yours slip away because they don't want to deal with the aftermath. You're at a crossroads. I want someone to talk to me like that, right? And I will always be the guy to talk to my friend. It doesn't always work, right? But I see what you mean. It's different than polite, and it's more crocodilian. It's the same thing. It's like, I really believe honesty. You can be a terrible person and honest, and I'll still get along with you. Mm-hmm. As long as you're being completely real to whatever version of humanity you are, ugly or beautiful, I don't care. Just don't like pretend, because then I have to work, right? Then I listen to what you say and I go, the tone in your voice isn't matching the energy of your intention. There is something duplicitous about this. Like, it's not just the plane isn't landing cleanly, right? I hear the plane landing, but I'm seeing the engine pull up. Like, why are there two different stories that are incongruent to each other? Something you're telling me isn't registering. And, that I feel like is the cause of most human problems. Am I wrong?
I think that love takes risks. So, and what that means is that if I am just being polite to you, one of the things you might want to ask yourself is, why is this guy being so polite to me? What does he want from me, right? Because you might just be like a lion, and I'm just trying to feed you and keep you happy, right? I'm just keeping you a part of my entourage, or I need something from you, or whatever it is. And if you really love somebody, then you'll take that risk and say something very brazen that might offend them, and you might lose that friendship and the assets that come with that friendship. But that's how you demonstrate love, is by risking it for the betterment of your friend or your loved one or spouse or whoever. This applies to any kind of relationship, in my opinion.